Well, good morning. Let's go straight to the weather because it's rather nice today. We're going to hit a high of 20, sunny, a gentle breeze. The most cloud we're likely to see is 11 o'clock this morning. Other than that, cloudless skies, not a single chance of rain. All in all, a thoroughly nice day up until 6 o'clock this evening, and even then, we'll only have scattered showers. And the breeze is gentle. And if I'm looking at my usual signs, the hanging baskets, yes, are gently rocking. The leaves on the trees are static, nothing disturbing those. And any litter in the street not blowing around. So there you are. That is the day ahead as far as the weather is concerned. Oh, aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky? Well, I've had a couple of miserable days, so something has got to make up for it, hasn't it? Indeed, it has. Now, I did a rant yesterday with, it's a fly. And you know, once you get a pesky fly, to try and get rid of it is absolute hell. And it keeps back and dive bombs you. As yesterday I did a rant about the piece of junk that I got. And the company, TGA, had no corporate social responsibility. It got a terrific response from you. And some people sent in saying, well, I just got a battery, a new battery for whatever, and it had a 2-year warranty on it. Why has yours only got 1 year? So that you're just out of it. I don't know the answer to that. And the fact of the matter is, that is the way it is. And I guess nobody has persuaded this company to change its policy. I doubt if we will, because corporate Britain is very slow to change unless it affects its profits. And that's the fact. CSR is law in over 170 countries in the world, but not in the UK. And as usual, what we do is we argue, well, we've got several pieces of legislation which cover it. We don't want several, we want one, so that we know what we're talking about. And there is no ducking and diving. But no, our government knows best. And I suspect that this lot are going to be no better than the last lot, or the lot before them. Or for that matter, the lot will come after them. They will sit in their ivory tower in Westminster, debating how to get the best quality booze at the cheapest price for their subsidized bars. And after that, I had my good friend Alex Kirby on yesterday. I think he would not be unhappy if I said that he's an environmentalist, but one comment he made while he was on, and he said, well, Keith, you don't hold much regard for any politician, do you? And he's absolutely right, I don't. They have to prove themselves to me. And the strutting and the puffing out of the chest, the empty promises, the empty words, just don't wash. And at the end of the day, when they are shown not to wash, they've managed to prevaricate long enough that everybody's forgotten what it is that the issue was in the first place. And off they go once again. I'd like to see that turned around. I don't think we need our system changing. I'm a great fan of a constitutional monarchy. But we do need a different type of person to fill the boots that are laid out at Westminster for those who should represent us. And one of the things that, I mean, all these things are highlighted. The elderly, loneliness, mental stress, diseases, in my case, Parkinson's. Oh, yes. Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, heavens, you can get support if you actually follow these rules, which we're putting online for you. Excuse me? You're 80? So online is difficult for you? Oh, tut. Go and take a course. Not our responsibility, Gov. Oh, not a bit of it. No help there, then. We'll keep on talking a great storm about the evils of our society and find somebody else to blame. Not us. Heavens, no, we're elected to lead you. Some leadership. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Is that so difficult? Yes, it bloody well is, for people who have no conviction that they're not right in the first place. That their justification for what they do is perfectly sensible and satisfactory. It's not. Not in the least. But anyway, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Because the saga of the Red Devil is not over yet. It is not over yet. However, there was some happy news in sports, believe it or not. Yeah. Oh, look at that. We scored. Ollie Watkins, a last-minute substitute, banged in the ball to the back of the net to make it 2-1 for England with just 2 or 3 minutes to go. And we had a similar experience that saw us through Slovakia. There was about 15 seconds to go when Jude Bellingham did his famous overhead kick and sank the ball in the back of the net. And the last one, down to penalties. That was 5-4 on penalties, got us through. And now this wonder goal in the last, well, I think it was extra time of regular time. In other words, the minutes added on. So it was saying like something like in the 96th and 97th minute, is it? No, 91st or 92nd minute. Anyway, we're through. We're through to the final. And all the criticism of the manager and the players and so on and so forth is people are having to eat their words. Except that they don't, of course. Well, they were lucky. I was right. My assessment of the team is but the success gives me an opportunity to go and have a glass of beer. So why not? Why not? But what else is happening? For all the wonder of the last minute goal, there is horror. Triple killings in the suburbs reads the headline in the Daily Mail, with a picture of the three ladies, rather attractive ladies, I may say, who was shot with a crossbow, and a picture of the suspect who is being arrested, although it's difficult to say. He was captured, but he did try to take his own life. I don't think that he managed that. Crossbow horror is the headline in the Daily Mail, which is among several papers to lead on the attack at a house in Hertfordshire, in which the wife and two daughters of BBC racing commentator John Hunt were killed. The suspect, Carl Clifford, 26, has been apprehended. He didn't take his own life. Like most of the other papers, the Mail also finds room to highlight England's victory over the Netherlands at Euro 2024. Super sub Ollie Watkins' 90th minute goal fired the team to last-minute glory in the semi-final, it says. The Times, its banner headline is "Glory for England. Kane's understudy fires a team to the final." It goes with the murder, the crossbow murder, former soldier held over triple crossbow murder. The Times carries photos of Carol Hunt, 61, Hannah Hunt, 28, and Louise Hunt, 25. The victims of the crossbow attack on its front page. Its story on the case focuses on the apprehension of Carl Clifford, a former soldier. The Mirror. Yes, Ole Watkins, it says, with the score England 2, Holland 1. Holland is a misnomer, actually. It was the Netherlands. But still, we won't get picky. Not at this hour of the morning, and on a decent morning at that. But then crossbow horror killings. A BBC man is family slain, it says. Race commentator finds wife and daughters dying. The Mirror reports that race commentator John Hunt was the person who found his wife and daughters after the attack. Its headline reads, BBC man, family slain. I'm having real problems with a fly here. And it's a foreign fly. It doesn't understand English. Go away. Go away. Do you hear me? Go away. Yeah. It's amazing the radar that they have. They take off long before your hand can settle on them and kill them. The Daily Telegraph. Crossbow killer executes BBC star's family. And a second banner headline is Clooney urges Biden to stand down as the world leaders meet. There's a NATO meeting to which our own Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has gone and was, in fact, I think, seated next to Joe Biden. The Daily Telegraph story on the killings notes that Home Secretary Yvette Cooper announced she would urgently examine a ban on the sale of crossbows within hours of the attack. But Clooney, the film star, and I may say one that I rather like, a bit of a fan, has been a great supporter of Biden from the Hollywood side. And he is urging Biden to stand down and let somebody else carry the Democrat flag, which is a real blow to the incumbent, because he had relied upon various celebrities and well-known people in politics, film, industry, supporting his stand that he should continue with his presidential campaign. Not anymore. Daily Express. Is it finally coming home, it says. Super sub Ollie Watkins fires 3 Lions into Euro 2024 final. But its main headline is for the murder. Triple murder suspect Kyle Clifford, aged 26, is caught in the cemetery after a huge manhunt. And the victims of a horror crossbow killing is shown with photographs of the 3 ladies who were shot dead. The Express says the crossbow attack suspect was captured after a huge manhunt. And on England's 2-1 football victory over the Netherlands, the Express shows pictures of goal scorer Ollie Watkins alongside celebrating fans under the headline, "Is it finally coming home?" Well, we're in the final. Can't ask for more than that. Southgate, has, despite all the criticism, has done a very good job. What a night, says the headline in the Star. What a night. And it's what is W-A-T, since it was Watkins who fired home the winning goal. What a night, says the Daily Star. Super sub Ollie's last gasp strike puts us in the final. The Metro. Netherlands 1, England 2. Never in doubt, it says, a play on words. Never in doubt reads the headlines in the Metro as it reports the late goal that saw England beat the Netherlands, which took the 3 Lions to their 2nd consecutive Euros final. The Guardian, as usual, goes off-piste. Starmer, shocking prisons crisis is worse than I feared. Well, I have to ask, why aren't any of the politicians saying, are there things that we can do to prevent crime? The prisoners crisis is simply the result of the fact that more and more people are breaking the law. And if it's that easy to break the law, and this crisis shows that it is, then that's where we should be focusing our attention. But will they? That's too difficult. That is absolutely too difficult. So what we'll do is we'll look at chucking people out of prison early. That's the solution. A Hollandaise Watkins puts England in dreamland. England are in dreamland after their semi-final win, says The Guardian. Its main story reports comments from UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer on overcrowding in prisons in England and Wales. The Prime Minister, who is set to announce an early release scheme of non-violent offenders, has said the situation was shocking and a total failure of the previous Tory government. Former Conservative Justice Secretary Alex Chalk told the Today podcast the early releases were the right way to proceed, but the longer-term solutions were needed. Yes, too damn true they are. An awful lot of lives could be saved looking at the longer term. The Eye. Here we go again. Southgate vindicated as substitutions win England the game. Water firms told to refund customers' bills if they fail to tackle sewage. Yeah, well, they've been told. Will they? I doubt it. These big companies are a law unto themselves. The Eye features a picture of England captain Harry Kane celebrating the team's Euro 2024 win with goal scorer Ollie Watkins. The paper also carries an exclusive on its front page, reporting that the government is to force water firms to give refunds to customers if they fail to upgrade their sewage networks. The FT. Biden's re-election drive reels under fresh blows from Pelosi and Clooney. That's the House Speaker, of course. The FT focuses on Joe Biden's re-election bid. The paper says the United States president has suffered twin blows after actor George Clooney called for him to stand down, and veteran Democrat Nancy Pelosi said he had a decision to make. She had a decision. Oh, no, I understand. That Biden had a decision to make on his future amid concerns over his age and health. Almost all the papers carry a picture of Ollie Watkins celebrating his goal that secured England's place in the Euro 2024 final. Looking ahead to the clash with Spain, the Sun has nicknamed him Ole Watkins. The Daily Mirror reports Gareth Southgate is a genius for making the decision to bring Watkins on as a substitute. A few of the papers say the England manager could soon be known as Sir Gareth. The Daily Express says he's almost certain to receive a knighthood if England win the Euros. Oh, well, a lot of stake then. Under the headline, "Honour me dead, son," the Daily Star says it has been told by sources that he's likely already done enough at the tournament to clinch him the gong. Oh, I see. It's carrying on. The Star is saying that Southgate may well get a gong no matter what the outcome of the final. I think that's only fair, actually. That's the depth of the organisation that has got them this far. The Times alleges that the youngest victim of the triple killing crossbow murders had broken up with the suspected attacker. Daily Mail says the ex-soldier was found following a 20-hour manhunt in a cemetery. The Guardian focuses on the dilemma facing Sir Keir Starmer about overcrowded prisons in England and Wales. The paper points to a Whitehall source who says 20,000 inmates could be freed as part of a new early release scheme. Woo! And then the crime rate will spike, and the Prime Minister will make some excuse as to why he did that. The Times says the new government is to make a major pitch to companies to recruit former prisoners. It says the prison minister, Lord, I haven't got the name here, but I think it's Lord Tamifot. The president of the Prison Governors Association, Tom Wheatley, is quoted as saying his union is hopeful the penal populism of the last government is a thing of the past, and that Labour would invest more in the service. Don't hold your breath. The Times says the new government is to make a major pitch to companies to recruit former prisoners. It says the Prisons Minister, Lord Timpson, whose business has employed thousands of ex-offenders, wants to significantly boost the number of firms hiring them. The paper says research by the Ministry of Justice shows prisoners who gain employment are less likely to reoffend. The Financial Times says the government is drawing up plans to put failing water companies into special measures. Going back to the Eye, which says the new Environment Secretary has said firms will no longer be allowed to use infrastructure funding to pay for bumper bonuses, dividends, and salary increases. A few of the papers say the former Conservative MP, Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg, is to become a reality TV star after losing his seat at the election. The Guardian says a show called Meet the Rees-Moggs will be available on the streaming platform Discovery Plus this year. The Telegraph says it will follow Sir Jacob and his family in the run-up to the election. The former business secretary, who lives in a 17th century house in Somerset, is quoted as saying the series may be a bit more Fawlty Towers than Downton Abbey. Well, there we are. Well, to me, I don't look any different. To you, perhaps you can spot that I have Parkinson's, which stops me walking, standing, doesn't stop me thinking, and it doesn't stop me shouting the odds. All mouth, which is what I accuse the politicians of doing. So I just copy them, don't I? Why not? If that's the game they play, let's get into that game and try to beat them at it. But the fact of the matter is, we have some serious problems in our society. And it seems to me that our leaders always look in the wrong place. And let me just pick up and remind you that yesterday, my scooter, my wonderful, wonderful scooter, which is my lifeline to getting out in the world, and if not the world, out into the heart of Lewis safely and get back, which is a signally failed to do. And when the engineer, who's a very nice guy called Roger, very nice guy, very pleasant, came out to take a look why it wasn't working properly, he came to the conclusion that the only thing it could be were batteries. Oh, says Roger, I don't think the batteries are covered by the warranty. He looks, he phones, and sure enough, the lady at let's see, it's a TAG, I think, or T. I better make sure that I've got that right. TGA is the company. TGA Mobility. Very nice girl. Very pleasant. They're very polite. But they sell crap. This scooter has done nothing. I've only had it a year. And it must have broken down at least 4 times, one reason or another. And they find reasons here and reasons there. Doesn't make any difference. I've just had to take the bus. Well, yesterday, because I couldn't afford to pay for what really should be under warranty, I had to take the bus in to the office, in other words, into the pub, to make sure that our broadcast went out. And when I came to leave, I went to catch the bus, and for the first time in quite a long time, I fell over. Luckily, 2 kind people in the street hauled me to my feet. I struggled to the bus stop, managed to get on the bus, went to the coffee shop where I met Liza Page, Monday afternoon correspondent, or late Monday morning actually, correspondent who looks at the Alternative View. We had arranged a meeting. We had and if you want to talk about what do we do for elderly people under stress, well, you got double stress yesterday and nobody wanted to do anything. Now, I don't know who it is that does the planning, but I wish, for God's sake, is that they would go out into the real world instead of sitting pushing pens, either in county offices, district offices, Westminster offices, or whatever, because they are totally and utterly out of touch. There was a wonderful organization called STEPS, and the government actually does provide some support for people with ill health and the elderly, but you've got to fill in forms. How do you get the forms in the first place? God only knows. But this organization, STEPS, advised you. It helped you. It helped my wife when she was suffering COPD. I think that's what it is, COPD, prior to her death. And very good they were, very helpful to her. They advised me 2 years ago, and it became apparent that my Parkinson's was going to prevent me from doing a lot of things. They were excellent. So I called them yesterday to see what my steps should be, no pun intended, to try to at least maximize the support that I'm getting to help me get through a period when I can't walk. It's changed its name to some fancy name. I got hold of a lady who, once again, very pleasant, right? They think that's PR being pleasant, by the way. Very pleasant. Who said, we don't do that anymore. We're a new organization, and what we do is we look after housing. You want a new house, or you want somewhere to live, get in touch with us. But other than that, health issues, you've got to go through to your surgery. Oh, here we go. We're back into the NHS system before we've even asked what we wanted. Anyway, I called. I was lucky. I was 8th in the queue. I pumped the callback button, and about half an hour later, the phone rang, and it was the surgery. I explained to the receptionist what it was that I wanted, and she said, because I'd been told by the STEPS people, anything that you do has to be initiated by your GP. My heart sank at that straight away. But anyway, I tried to get through to my GP, and I'm expecting a call sometime in the next 5 or 6 hours. In the meantime, I can't walk, I can't stand, I'm on my own, I'm vulnerable. But the thing is, the scooter people don't care. And the NHS people don't care. And the surgery people don't care. As long as we follow the rules, the system, that's okay. But I'm lying on my back and I think I'm dying in 10 minutes. Well, That's not covered in the rules, so you better die. Cold, efficient, clinical. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Meets all those criteria head on. What happened to humanity? What about care? What about the Hippocratic Oath? What about being in the position you are because you wanted to help? We keep on reading as old people have mental health problems. Old people suffer from loneliness. Old people suffer da 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 da. Well, all the things that worked that helped old people have been removed. Why? Because we've got to have this new computer system. For God's sake, Jesus, we spent months researching the computer systems that should work. We're going to make them bloody well work. The fact is, of course, is the foot is size 9 and the shoe is size 6. It's a real problem. But one of the things that I think the whole country is suffering from is CSR, corporate social responsibility. This is the business model in which corporations recognize in their strategies that they are part of society. They're not set aside. And that their so-called stakeholders are the people in the areas in which they operate, people who their systems and practices affect, and products that are suited to their customer, not as cash cows to bring in as much money as it possibly can. And that's what CSR is based on. It goes a bit bigger than that when we get as far as the United Nations into child labor, child soldiers, environment, and other issues, major issues of our time. But essentially, it is business and its responsibility to the social community. $175 or so countries have signed up to the United Nations decree on this. And if you want to go and work in any of those countries, you have to prove that you have got CSR policies in place. Britain? No, we wouldn't sign up to anything like that. Goodness gracious me, no. We've got so much legislation. We've got 20 pieces of legislation that cover it. Go and read the 20 pieces of legislation and see if they cover what the problem is. What absolute naive BS. They won't do it, but they expect you to do it. Don't do as I say, and don't even do as I do, because it will actually screw you up. We're not doing any of it. CSR is dead in the water in the UK, as it needn't be. I used yesterday experience locally of the company who want to develop the bus station. Read their website and they tell you how they work with the local communities, how they're sensitive to it, how they want to make sure that everything fits into a social pattern that is established in the town, the community, or wherever. It's a wonderful, wonderful company. Except when it comes down to it, as experienced by the bus station saga, is they don't do any of it. And in fact, they don't work locally to work out something that is sympathetic to local needs, local expectations. On the contrary, they just make things much more difficult. Well, that is a typical example of a company that has no CSR in place. But now it would seem that those people who profit from the industry that looks after the mobilization or mobility of old people, infirm people, people with injuries and so on, with the needs of somehow moving around, they haven't got it either. Their policies are, let's look after ourselves, let's look after the bottom line. Oh, we have people with special needs as in our customer base. Well, tough. Not only that, there is nobody monitoring whether the product that they sell is any good. And I am a bit disappointed, to say the least, that the Parkinson Society have made it impossible to buy. If they give you any help at all, they made it impossible for you to buy anything other than people from products from TGA. Anyway, we tried. We phoned. I say we. I stood by while one of my good friends who looks after me phoned another company in Lewis. Oh, well, we could come out at 70 quid. Anything extra is, that's on top. There's £70 for one of our drivers to come out and take a look. Oh, thanks. Oh, hang on. No, I got that wrong. It'll be a palpitation. Oh. It's £100. That's just for a look-see. Another one with no comprehension of CSR. And I bet that half the companies, if not 3/4 of them, they put up ads. We care, we understand older people, we understand people who are infirm and so on and so forth, but they don't. And their approaches are lousy. And they will do nothing to alter. So my view is what we do is for all small to medium enterprises, we enter legislation to start off with so that they must practice some CSR policies. Then we train them in CSR to make sure that they understand what it's all about. And then the legislation says that they must implement it and carry it through. And that is not only for corporate, for charities, for suppliers, for organizations like the government. That can all be legislation on tap to make sure that these medium-sized companies that are making money out of misery are at least standing by whatever it is that they ask us to do to alleviate that misery a little bit and at least give us some feeling that you care. Well, we've been going 8:51, 10 to 9. We've got John Henty in at 11 o'clock. At 10 o'clock. So I shall look to see if there's anything worthwhile playing for you in the next hour. And if not, go and have a cup of tea. And if you are computer literate, look up CSR. And for that matter, simply because they are the company under the microscope, look up TGA. Look up TGA and see what they promise, because then I can tell you what they deliver. Right, you are. Oh, I should have just hidden that. I managed to do away with the icon. Oh, that's me. Right, is in the aftermath of England in the last minute again, winning 2-1 against the Netherlands, who are a pretty good team. We'll say toodle-pip, have a good morning, enjoy the sun, come back to us in half an hour's time, and we'll try hard to entertain you, inform you, but if not, shout the odds the way that the politicians do. The thing is, if you can't beat them, join them. And beating them, perhaps we can, but it's a slow process. It's a slow process. Strange enough, never mind the politics. The last person to make a speech that said reform is needed in government was Boris Johnson. And he is not in politics anymore. So you may not like Boris. Lots of people don't. But I don't care whether he's likable or not. Would he do the job? It's my firm belief is the only one that makes any sense whatsoever. Because he says our governance situation from top to bottom is not fit for purpose. And it is time we looked seriously at wholesale reform. That'd be nice. All right. We'll see you in a little while. Oh, it's still early morning. Bye-bye.